Good afternoon. Long time no chat. I just got home from my first day of chemo class and I got off a little bit early. It's 5 p.m. The night is young. You know what I haven't done is talk to you guys about what's been going on in my life. I asked you guys a couple weeks ago to leave me questions on one of my old videos, and so I'm gonna go through the OG people who watch these videos and leave me a comment. They're gonna get their questions answered today. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Kiara. I recently graduated from an accelerated nursing program and now I got a job at my dream hospital working in pediatric hematology and oncology. I'm almost to the day at my 2-month mark, which is absolutely wild to say, and I feel like I haven't done the best job about documenting this journey, but I'm still like so new and fresh that I feel like it's just begun. Like I feel like I literally just started yesterday, even though there's definitely tons of ways in which I've grown as a person and a lot that I've gone through in this short amount of time. Let me pull up the video and we're just gonna go through this. All right, first question is from Cameron. How have you been? I have been good. I feel like this week has been a little bit hard to judge. Like I want to in the moment be like, I'm okay. It's just been a little bit of a hard week and I feel like I've been dealing with some stuff in my personal life that I don't necessarily feel comfortable sharing at the moment. Overall, like very proud of myself, taking care of myself. I'm so lucky to have so many outlets and things that I love to do and people who I love to hang out with. So I feel like that has been a very productive use of my time. And I definitely recommend that to everyone. Having a lot of outlets and different people to rely on is just really helpful when you're going through stuff. Abigail wants to know, how is nursing? And I'm gonna kind of answer like, what are my thoughts on nursing now that I've actually been working as a nurse? Like, do I regret my decision going in this career? Like, what are my general overview thoughts? Honestly, I am so happy to be in this profession. Yes, there are stressors going on in the nursing world. Yes, there are issues because there's going to be issues anywhere you go. But in general, I feel like nursing really fits my personality, and specifically the floor that I'm on is just so me. Although I'm like going through a lot and trying to learn and I don't feel like I'm the perfect fit and can just jump right in, I know that this will be my home for hopefully an extended period of time because I genuinely do feel really happy. I walk home and yes, I'm tired and exhausted, but at the same time I feel so fulfilled, and I have noticed the biggest shift in gratitude. You see these family stories and you're a part of them, and it's a very humbling experience, and at the same time I'm just filled with a lot of gratitude for my own health and my family's health. Honestly helps me have like a different perspective on life, which is really special. I think anyone who works in the healthcare field really understands that. What's something that you wish you could tell your pre-nursing school self? Oh my gosh, there's so much that I wish I could say. A piece of advice, wise words, etc. I'm in the same place you were 2 years ago with applying to nursing school and getting my CNA license. Any advice you have? This is such a good question. For those of you who have followed my journey from the very beginning, 3 years ago, I was sitting right here having a little bit of a meltdown because I failed one of the skills in my CNA exam and I was really distraught. Like I was honestly so upset for an entire week, and I thought that I wasn't meant to be a nurse, that I didn't have the actual skills or knowledge to be competitive in nursing school and to be able to get through that. And I wish I could tell myself, gotta trust yourself and that it'll all come into play, and that you have so many skills as a person that are gonna allow you to absorb what you need to know to become a nurse. And I wish I could tell my pre-nursing self that it would all work out. Like you would get your dream job right out of school, kind of by luck and by patience and by playing the game right. I wish I could tell myself that nursing school would be a lot easier for you because you had so many skills that you gained from your undergrad, and that you're so happy that you decided to go that path even though it was a little bit more non-traditional. I wish I could tell myself that you are on the right path and you're thinking through everything perfectly and it will work out and you're gonna be really proud of yourself in a couple years. The patience is worth it. Every little battle that you have to fight to get there is just gonna make you stronger and it's gonna make you a better nurse. I'm rooting for you, Kate. Would I do a nursing what's in my backpack and would I bring to eat and drink? Yes. Leave any good nursing video recommendations down below and I will try to make those happen for you guys. Carrie wants to know, how is the new job going and how have you been juggling work with skiing and my busy schedule, etc. So officially ski season is pretty much over for me, which has been really nice because I went from having 4 jobs down to having 2 jobs because I was coaching 2 different ski teams. I started my nursing job and I was doing YouTube at the same time. And I had friends and family, so I was kind of being pulled in a lot of directions, which is why the videos on my channel were just not very consistent for the past 2 months because I was in pure survival mode, working almost every single day of the week. And even more recently, although ski season has kind of ended up winding down a little bit, I had a couple trips and I participated in Masters National Championship ski race myself, which was a really amazing opportunity that I kind of jumped on. I ended up working or traveling for 17 days in a row with not a single personal day to like catch up in between, which was a lot. So that was like a crazy month, but proof that if you want it, you can make it happen. So it's been really hard to juggle, but at the same time, I've been really focused, trying to make a to-do list and trying to come home after work and either do something to take care of myself and get ready for the next day to make it easier so that on my 3rd shift in a row, I can go hang out with friends, or on one of those days, I make plans to get dinner or dessert with someone, or I stop by my parents' house so I can kind of fit in all of these people that I want to see on a weekly basis. I just try to do my very best and then also give myself grace. And you guys have been a huge part of that. Thank you so much for being so understanding of how wild that was. I was honestly so busy. I only have 2 more days that I'm going to be coaching a short little camp over the weekend. After that, then I will really be able to focus on just YouTube and my job. I really definitely miss being with my ski team, and I feel like that's such a positive mental outlet for me, especially when I was starting out on the floor, because it is hard to be new, and sometimes you want a part of your life where you feel good at something. After coaching for the past 3 years, I've kind of got it down. Like, I know my athletes, I love hanging out with them, I know what they want to work on. It felt really good to be a part of something that was normal for me throughout that transition time. And then in terms of how's the job been going, it's been going well. I love my preceptors. I feel like that's probably been the biggest gift in this whole entire situation is I have 2 different preceptors that I work with, and I kind of rotate depending on whose schedule works better for me that week. They are just amazing humans, such great teachers, really patient with me, and our personalities seem to mesh really well. Mackenzie wants to know, what are some of my favorite places to go in Portland? Lately, the new restaurant that I discovered in Portland, which if you ever come here or live in the area, you need to go to Eam. I think it's called Eam. It's spelled like E-E-M, and it's a Thai barbecue. Delicious. The cocktails are great, the service is great, atmosphere is super cool. I've been going to a lot of restaurants in my area. There's so much I like to do. I love going to the Rose Garden, and I'm gonna play tennis there this Saturday because the weather is supposed to be incredible. I love going down by the waterfront and either going for like a long walk or renting the Nike bikes. I'm really excited for the farmers markets to start up again, and that whole like summer season of boating, paddleboarding, hiking, all of that fun stuff. Ashley wants to know, what's the smallest lesson that you've learned from Doug / your parents that you've incorporated into your adult / living alone life? I think the smallest lesson, but one that's been so impactful, is just the importance of talking about your day with someone that you trust and care about, whether that's you FaceTiming a friend or calling your parents, even journaling about it if that's the only way that you can talk about it. It's a way for you to process your ideas, and I'm really lucky that I have such an incredible support system where I can rant about a small thing in my day and my friends are able to like laugh about it with me and support me through it and know that it's not like this crippling thing that I'm angry or complaining about, but just something I need to get off my chest. And I think that's been something that's very helpful to process all this change that's been going on. The other thing that's kind of a basic one but important is like the importance of having a nice dinner every single day, whether that's something that you cook for yourself or you have to resort to treating yourself to some takeout. It's just really important to nourish your body and not skip a meal. Doesn't even matter how tired you are, like make it happen. I kind of want to make that the question of the day. So if you've watched to this point, comment down below a lesson that you've taken away from your parents and how you've like incorporated that into your adult life. Carolina wants to ask, what tips do you have to create a new routine every time something big happens to you, like starting ski season or getting your new job? We miss you. I missed you guys so much. That's such a good question. Honestly, okay, new routines. It's crazy how much my ski routine is so similar to my nursing routine because I do the same sort of stuff. I lay out my clothes every single day. I pack my lunch before every single day. Sometimes I even go as far as to like laying out the dishes that I need for breakfast. The biggest other tip that I have for you guys is to give yourself a little bit more time. I don't know if anyone asked about this in particular, but if you guys have followed my journey through nursing school at some clinicals, at one point I was going through a really hard time where I had really crippling pre-shift anxiety to the point where it was like affecting my sleep, and I was very anxious and hadn't really experienced anything like that in my life before. And I was really nervous that I would be super anxious for my job. And it's funny that I haven't experienced a lot of that. And I think it's partially because I've allotted a long period of time to get ready. So one of these days I'll do a morning routine, but basically I wake up at 5:20 in the morning and I leave at 6:30. And during that time, I can just like slowly eat my breakfast and watch a show. And there's just something really calming about it because it's still me time and I'm not just having to get ready and leave and that's it. No fun is involved in it. I get to like make myself a nice breakfast and eat it slowly at my own pace and not feel like I'm in a rush and have everything laid out so my brain doesn't really have to think, and a part of my morning is simply relaxing. And I think that's definitely something that has helped me. And then at the same time, like I mentioned earlier, like keeping the things that are consistent in my life consistent, still hanging out with my friends despite adapting to a busier schedule, and still like getting to go ski on the weekends when I want to because I know it provides me joy. You gotta work it in. Like I said, if you want it, you can make it happen. Are the other nurses supportive or standoffish? So far, I've had a very positive experience on my floor. We recently have been having like a little bit of a hard time. Some of our patients haven't been doing well, and seeing the support through all of that has just been very comforting. There has been a couple instances of nurses that you can tell just like aren't a huge fan of new grad nurses. They seem to be frustrated. I get it, like it's not ideal. We have a lot of questions to ask. We don't know where anything is. I feel stupid like half my day, and I'm really just trying to do my absolute best. The whole nurses eat their young thing, it's true to an extent, but I would say for 98% of the people on my floor, they're amazing. Next question is, do I plan on getting my master's degree? This is a very interesting question because if you would have asked me this at the start of nursing school, I would have said absolutely not. I'm perfectly happy with my degree and I will probably do other things in nursing, but not be paying more money to go to school because I was just so tired of paying for school. However, I feel like my mind is a little bit more open to the idea, especially because the hospital that I work at has a tuition reimbursement program and a master's program, in which case it would be very easy to like get my master's semi-online and be able to flex my hours and work like 0.75 instead of 0.9 and be able to get a master's degree, which could be beneficial if I ever want to go into teaching, which I may have an interest in at some point in my life, or some sort of like leadership. You also get paid a little bit more too. So if they're gonna pay for my school and the timing is right in my life and I'm looking for something a little bit new to inspire me, then I think I would do it. But that's a long time down the road, and the only reason I'm saying that is because I am so young and I got my nursing degree fairly young, to the point where like I will be working for the next, 30, 40 years probably as a nurse. And so at some point, I'm gonna probably want a little bit of a switch up. Isabel wants to know, what do I do when I find myself having a bad day? I had a bad day on Monday, and what I did to help myself was I made myself my comfort food. I actually drew up a bath, which was so unlike me. I put on some like low-key emo sad girl music and just like let myself feel the feels. Lit a candle, did a face mask, had a little mini spa day, and then I forced myself to watch something funny because I usually like to watch stuff that's kind of sad or emotional or intellectual. And I was like, no, that's not what we need today. We need something that's just light and chill. And I went to bed early and I woke up the next day and I hung out with my friends and I felt better. That's kind of my typical routine of self-care. What is my favorite thing about my new job? Oh my gosh, probably the people. Like everyone from the docs to the NPs to my other nurses to our like front desk gal who's amazing, to the patients themselves who are just really strong, amazing humans and still make me laugh and smile, and I'm just inspired by them every day. Definitely the people. We also have the best snacks in Peds world, so if you ever were looking for a reason to get into pediatrics and you like sweets and pizza, let me tell you, there's plenty of that on my floor. Katie wants to know, what's one of my favorite accomplishments so far in 2023? I think it has to be getting my dream job. That is a huge accomplishment and something that I was so stressed about. Sitting in the unknown is so hard. So achieving that and having it be at a place that I always wanted to work at, in a field I always was interested in, and then also to be really happy working there right now is a win. A win, win, win. Oh my gosh, Jen got into nursing school. Everybody send a little congratulations to Jen. I'm very proud and excited for you. Taylor wants to know, question of the day, any advice for me? I'm turning 21 in May and graduating college soon this summer and struggling to find practical ways to slowly ease into adulthood, prioritizing my relationships, saving for my first apartment, finding my first full-time job after graduation soon. It's all so very overwhelming and I don't know where to start. Taylor, I know this feeling so well. That's kind of like what I was just talking about. It's like so much change and you feel this excitement that the world is your oyster, but then you're so overwhelmed by the amount of choices and you're trying to like enjoy the moment and live in the present, but also plan for the future. And it's this like constant back and forth on this spectrum of trying to find balance in your life, and it's so hard. So first, give yourself grace and please find time to like build in fun within all the stress. And my biggest piece of advice for you is to just break it down and go somewhere like outside of your normal routine. Go to a coffee shop, treat yourself to your favorite coffee or tea, and sit down and start making a list and just exploring in small chunks. So like make a goal, maybe like every month, that you want to apply to 5 jobs and explore 3 different career options. Make it like a project for yourself. Put the research that you build into like a little spreadsheet, and who knows, you will probably come across other people in your life who will find that information really helpful, who you can share with them some of like your background research and knowledge. Also, I was famous for putting some sticky notes, like the jumbo sticky notes, up on my wall and just spending an afternoon like literally researching every single option and making a pro-con list. And so I could just visually see on my wall for an entire week what my options were. And I had my mom come over and be like, yeah, this is what I would lean towards and you're kind of on the right track. And definitely talking to people is super helpful. In terms of like finances, definitely start to like lay things out so that part of your life is less overwhelming. Like even if it's on paper, exactly what you spend every single month on in these categories. I like to use the website Mint. It's really helpful and it's free. And just breaking it down and like having a visual of what your life is allows you to make decisions more clearly on what you want to do with your future. You should be celebrating this exciting season in your life. Graduating is huge and you never get that window of time back. And one of the best things I did was graduate nursing school in August and take that 6 months to just live my life, coach and travel and see people I love and move to the place where I'm happier. In time, it all works out. What is the most exciting part of my new career? That's a really good question, Britt. My most exciting part is that we are at the forefront of advancing research for pediatric hematology and oncology conditions. It's really cool to be a part of science, and so many of our kids are a part of these studies, and we're administering the chemo that is going to change their lives and then change other kids' lives when we get this data. Being a part of that science in a very real-time aspect is pretty cool. Okay, this is a really good question. In this moment in time, what do you want to say to your past and future self? Could be advice, words of encouragement, anything. To my past self, I would say you are stronger than you think and you will be able to achieve everything that you desire in time. So keep trucking away, keep prioritizing balance in your life because it will ultimately provide you the happiness that you need to keep going. And then to my future self, don't lose track of why you started. And at times I think it can be like really easy to get stuck in the routine of things and have kind of this freak out moment of like, why am I doing this? And I just had a terrible day and this just seems so unfair. And so I just think it's really important to always keep that perspective and remember your why. It's really helpful that I have these YouTube videos because sometimes I do go back to those old videos and I look at my life then and I'm like, how did I even do that? There's video evidence that you got through that craziness in your life and you accomplished that. Surprise yourself. Just had to restart the video. I'll just do a couple more and hopefully I'll pick some good ones and then maybe I'll have to do another one of these Q&As soon. How have I dealt with new girl anxiety and self-doubt? It has been a little bit difficult. Luckily, I've had really amazing preceptors like I mentioned, so I've felt fairly welcomed in the space. But I think just like trying to be mindful of my presence is really important because I can be a really social, fun person and I can be like 100% myself, but when I'm trying to like acclimate into this new area, it's also like a professional space. So I'm just being really mindful of when it's appropriate to be chatting at the nurse's station and being social versus when it's appropriate to like be focusing just on reading my chart and having quiet time because other people are trying to get their work done too. I think that's kind of like how I've dealt with being the new aspect, and then the anxiety and self-doubt. Just asking questions and receiving that validation from my preceptors has been so helpful. I can make a whole video about this of like all these little things that I make mistakes on that I can easily beat myself up about, and I'm trying really hard to give myself grace and to understand that I'm learning. And I literally had less than 20 days of actual clinical in nursing school before coming onto this floor. Very, very minimal time spent in the hospital, so there's no reason why I should feel like I have to know everything, especially not in this specialty, which is very unique. And I feel secure in the sense that at least these nurses are molding me to exactly how they want me to be. So I'm not coming in with any like preconceived ideas of like, this is how we do things and I'm stuck in my ways. I'm very open to learning. And I was talking about this with my friend the other day, and she's like, we were talking about skiing and kind of my story into skiing, and I definitely think that my entire journey as a ski racer, from learning how to ski at 14 and being the worst one on my team to working really hard and growing and now being a coach to others, has proven to me that I love the learning process and that I can be okay with not being the best at something, and that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be in the future. So I have hope that eventually I'll be coaching others when I figure out what I'm doing myself. Now that you're working full-time and are super busy and live alone, do you ever feel lonely? I find it hard sometimes when you're super tired to make time for a lot of friends, and I need time for myself. However, without them, I sometimes miss them and feel alone. I live alone as well. At university, it was different because they lived literally next door. What do you do? How do you balance? Or is it something you struggle with as well? Such a good question. That is something I definitely struggled with the first time that I lived in this apartment, because that was my first full year living alone, and it was in the middle of the pandemic, so I had a very small circle of people who I was actually seeing. Now it feels normal to me because it's been 3 years of me living alone, so I'm much more comfortable and confident, and I would say I am so busy in my outside life, and all of that is social time at the hospital, working with others, coaching people, hanging out with my friends, to the point that I actually do need a little bit of downtime here, and so sometimes it is nice. Luckily, I have chosen to live in a place that's relatively close to a lot of my friends, so I try to text people and make plans, and even just throwing out plans like, this probably won't happen, and I asked if you wanted to get dinner in the next hour, and just be spontaneous. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I have to drive to my parents' house because I just need social interaction and free dinner cooked for me. It's definitely a balance, and I do listen to a lot of podcasts. Like if I'm doing some cleaning around the house or taking a long shower, I'm just like, I'll throw on a podcast so I feel like my brain is being stimulated like I'm having social interaction. And then I've always said FaceTime is like the best cure for loneliness. It does wonders. It's not perfect, but it does the trick for sure. And then sometimes you just have to like find a project to get yourself excited about it and out in the world, and like go run an errand and get some little drawer organizers to organize your closet. So sometimes that helps too, when you just know that you need to get out of your house. That definitely happens a lot. Oh, this is a good question. I feel like I do get this question a lot. Not totally related to your new job or new home, but would you ever consider getting a pet? And if so, what animal? And if currently restricted by renting rules, would you if you had your own home? I have never really had many pets in my life, like never had a dog or a cat growing up, so I don't really know like the love from a pet. It's the one thing about me that I think really surprises people because I'm just not a crazy animal person. I would never get a pet for my apartment. I just have so much on my plate that I'm not really looking for a pet. I do want to have a pet when I have a family eventually and I have children who are of age to be semi-responsible for the pet, just because I do see the importance of like having a family pet and teaching responsibility. And I didn't experience that, so I want to know what that love is like. As a fellow perfectionist and slight workaholic, how do you cope with resting and forcing yourself to take a break? You guys know me very well. Yeah, I love to go and focus on my to-do list and be productive in my day. Even on my days off, I feel like it could definitely get out of hand. But I'm also a fairly spontaneous person. So if someone invites me to be like, hey, you want to go roller skating? And I'm like halfway through my to-do list, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I deserve this. I know I worked hard and I deserve the break. So I will say yes more than I say no. I'm definitely like a say yes person. The other thing is just like trying to take care of my body. I'm a lot more aware of like, I need to get more sleep. I need to prioritize drinking water, eating healthy, like really taking care of my body so that I don't reach the breaking point, because once I do that, I can't enjoy all the other things that I want to A, get done, and 2, go do. Really being in tune with myself and my body and what I need so that I can continue with my workaholic productivity lifestyle. I'm going to do 2 more because I found 2 more good ones. Jasmine wants to know, what has been the most difficult part about transitioning from being a student to being a full-time employee? Thank you for sharing your journey with us. Thank you for being a part of my journey. I think the hardest part is like the responsibility that you feel, because as a student nurse, I guess I feel like very safe and protected in the fact that I'm not supposed to know anything and I'm just a student, and this other nurse is like responsible for everything. But as I'm transitioning through my orientation process, I'm expected to know more and just be aware of like a lot of different safety pieces that aren't written down necessarily, and you have to know all of these unique intricacies of nursing that I feel like are not covered in school whatsoever. I almost want to write a review to my nursing school of like, talk about med compatibilities, talk about flushing speeds, and talk about diluting medications, like all these kind of interesting things that I just feel like were never really covered in my nursing school experience that you think about on a daily basis constantly and do affect the safety of your patients. So I think that's been like the hardest thing, is trying to learn and pick up on all of these work rules. Every day is a learning experience, so you learn something new. Sometimes you just gotta still ask the same question over and over again. Last question, the biggest shock managing full-time work, YouTube, fitness, life balance, and what is the first ball that drops when you feel off balanced, and how do you pick yourself back up? It's hard, but also I'm a Libra, and this has been my lifestyle for as long as I've known. Like ever since I went to school at University of Oregon, I have been skiing and doing YouTube and doing school. So now I'm just kind of like tacking on a little bit more of a serious responsibility that's slightly more time consuming, which is having a full-time job. Yeah, I guess it's a lot more time consuming. Yeah, the first ball that unfortunately has been dropping lately, I guess the most obvious one is the YouTube content, you guys. I still obviously love making videos for you guys, and I want to document this journey, so I have been giving myself a little bit of grace in that area, but at the same time I'm like, I'm keeping on schedule, like we're not gonna make this go on forever, so hence why you're getting this nice little video, and I'm gonna step up my game now that I have ski season like a little bit on the back burner. It's hard. I mean, I think that's the first ball to drop. That or sleep, because honestly I have somehow been surviving on like 6 hours of sleep a night, and it's the only thing that's giving me hope going into night shift, that I will not need to like sleep for 12 hours after my shift, because I am gonna need to do stuff and live life, and I don't want to sleep away my days. That will be another huge transition for me. I will probably transition in about 1.5 to 2 months to night shift. That'll be a journey and a half, because I'm terrified. My life barely functions how it is, and that's me being on a normal human day's time schedule with almost everyone else, and I'm gonna be going to nights, which is gonna make my life extra challenging. So I'll be sure to document that journey. I've never done a night shift before. I know I will get through it, and I'll be making more money, which will be definitely very promising. That was a lot of questions, and I hope that was interesting in some way to listen. That's kind of my life update of where I'm at. Be sure to leave more comments in the questions down below on this video, and the next time I do a Q&A, I will try to answer them. I love asking you guys on YouTube because I feel like you just know me the best. If you want to follow my more day-to-day life, because I have been doing a really good job of posting on Instagram, you can go follow me. My Instagram is Kiara Madisen. I post lots of stories of whatever I'm up to on there. Give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying the nursing content. Question of the day is, what's a lesson that your parents or someone that you care about in your life that you've carried into adulthood? So leave it down below. I can't wait to read what you guys have to say. I love you so much, and I hope you're having a wonderful week. If not, go take care of yourself. Go do something for yourself, please. I'm telling you. And I will talk to you guys very, very soon.
Worry that I'm crazy, 'cause if it's all true, well, it's all true. I mean, you know I